Hi, and welcome to the WHYcast, episode 3. I'm Nancy,
And I'm Ad.
and we are the hosts of the only podcast about a hacker camp in the world. This volunteer run event will take place next year in the Netherlands, 42 kilometers above Amsterdam, from August 8 to 12, 2025. So, Ad, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about what I did last weekend.
Ooh,
We have some news about the CFP. We have a very cool interview with Mitch Altman. Yeah, the one. I ran into him on what I did last weekend, and I just said,
ooh.
I want you in the WHYcast. And he said,
No way, dude!
okay, yeah, just did it, and he said, sure. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about what you are going to do at Why
Mm-hmm.
and where to hack, the vacancy of the week, the weekly history lesson, and some listener questions, or at least one.
Yeah, very interesting. So,
Yeah,
you went to HackFest.
I went to HackFest as
Yes.
was already announced last week, and I went there. It was awesome. It was awesome. Um, 2 days in a giant hall with many makers and hackers, and there was people showing off all kinds of projects. There were lectures, workshops. I did also
Ooh.
a lecture on MQTT, Tasmota, and Node-RED. So a little introduction into IoT at home and how you could start with very limited materials, but get something up and running in less than 45 minutes, because that was all the time I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it went very good. But
And
there
how
were
was the
some.
demo fest? You were also there at
Oh
Saturday
yeah,
night?
that was awesome. There was a whole history lesson on the demo scene and how it evolved, the different type of home computers used, and then the shift to, well, partially at least, the shift to PC. I mean, the retro consoles are still very well used in the demo scene. Still Commodore 64s, still Amigas, but also the PC demos. The size coding, so get stuff within 64K or even in 4K, so 4096 bytes of information, and that would make a program, a running program with visuals and sounds and everything. Um, there was also then, after this history lesson, basically,
Mm-hmm.
the live coding, the byte coding, and that is a TIC80 machine,
Mm-hmm.
which is a virtual console. It's not a physical device. It's a fantasy console. It's
Yep.
an programming environment. It's a um, retro console like computer running on, well, pretty much anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you have certain limitations to create your software in. And there was a DJ playing, and you had to make some fancy visuals to go with the music. Three
VJing
people,
basically by
yeah, basically
programming.
live VJing by programming. There were three people competing against each other on a big beamer, and they would just sometimes zoom in on one of the people's code,
Yeah.
and you could actually see them just adding some code, running it, going back to the editor, changing a bit, trying it again, changing some numbers, making a mistake, get a bunch of errors, going back. So you just see it grow.
Yeah.
And I'm not entirely sure if they did it this time, but you could also impose a size limit on that and say, no, the code is only valid if it's less than 512 bytes or 1024 or something like that. So
It's good
that's
to
really
improve
cool.
your
And
coding skills.
yeah, and it's just awesome to watch, and those people have real skills and very cool animations within the limitations of the device. um I could put a link in the show notes to the TIC80.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Please do.
I'll look that up and and put them in the show notes.
From my perspective, what I always tell people is when you limit people, they get more creative. So I
Definitely. Yeah.
think
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Definitely.
helps a lot. Yeah,
Yeah. And great
very cool.
tunes. And all supported with some great laser shows because Dimitri was there with lasers. And I do have a little video with Dimitri that I'll put in probably next week with
Ah,
some prototypes and some secret stuff. So
yeah. Dimitri
yeah, more,
is from the hackerspace bit layer in the Netherlands in Amsterdam, and he's
yeah,
always busy with lasers and fire.
yeah, an organizer of Hacker Hotel, which I'm wearing the hoodie from by
Ah,
accident. Actually, it's wasn't planned, but it's a nice
you
coincidence.
shouldn't say that, Odds.
Oh,
This is
it was
not
all
the right
planned. It was, yeah,
influence.
it's all planned. Yeah.
This was so planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were also much more creative projects. There was someone who makes stamps with 3D printers.
Ah.
And there was someone who made, actually several people who made their own musical instruments, a 3D printed bass guitar. There was someone who, with a bunch of recycled materials, actually made um, a music table, basically with
Hmm.
I think like 40 or 50 touch sensitive pads that you could play like a marimba
Ah.
or a xylophone,
Oh, wow.
but then it spits out MIDI. And it was laid out like an accordion, or
The
actually,
music teacher in me really likes this. Very cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
it was really awesome. I hope I can find a picture of that. If so, then it'll be on screen now. And otherwise,
Yes.
I'm very sorry, but it was awesome, and you just have to come next time and hope they bring the same stuff.
It's very great to hear that it was such a success because I heard a lot of people reacting on Hackfest that it really was awesome. It was the first edition, and
It was the
they will
first edition, and
probably do it
yeah.
again next year. So
Oh, I really hope so because it was awesome. Yeah.
very cool.
Okay. I think that was enough about the past. Let's go to the future because
Oh yeah, I reached out to Team Content and I heard that actually the first CFPs are coming in. So the
cool.
first proposals, I mean, are coming in.
Hmm.
Um, so this means that the that we actually already have content for Y 2025, which is pretty early, 11 months in advance. But like what in an earlier episode, we were talking to Dani, and
Yep.
she says it's a lot of work to review all the proposals that are coming in. So if you're really curious about what came in, you could consider to become a reviewer, of course.
That would be a
Because
nice way to get the scoop and see
they have an
what's
early
cooking.
sneak peek on the
Yeah.
possible program because not everybody will make it to the program. But yeah, if you are interested to have a sneak peek, you can reach out to Team Content and become a reviewer. Um, what I asked Danny how many proposals came in. Two and a half. So we have a
Two,
start.
two and a half.
Yeah,
How do
so
you?
so the okay, so and the and a half I have to explain because Danny said you can propose something that is not entirely finished yet. So you can already start with a draft version.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fair.
And the closing date is of course Towel Day. That's the 25th of May next year, coming year,
Yep.
basically.
Yep.
You can change your proposal in the meantime. So if you have some ideas and you want to have it checked by Team Content, they can also give you some feedback. Maybe if you're not quite sure if this is something that fits one of the four themes that they have suggested,
Yep.
stated. So um, you can already start with your proposal if it's not quite there yet. That's perfectly fine. So Dani asked me to tell our listeners that.
Cool.
But I think it's very great news that the first couple of ones are in. Woohoo!
Yes. Yes. It's very exciting. So that's going to be maybe 2.5 of the 200 interesting talks that we're expecting. But first, at HackFest, like I said, I spoke with Mitch, and one of the things that he embodies basically is community and how working together and teaching and learning and sharing and looking
creating stuff
together is really great, and that was really the vibe at HackFest, and he is coming to WHY, and
yes,
he can't wait, and he will bring his workshop. And he'll be talking about his workshop a little bit in this next clip. So we're here at HackFest, as we already announced last week. And I'm here with Mitch Altman. Very welcome, and great to have you on our little show on WHYcast. And first of all, you were the opening speaker at the event here yesterday, because this is day 2. Have you been enjoying yourself?
Oh yeah, this has been wonderful. I'm totally physically exhausted, but these kind of events, I always am physically exhausted, but energized in so many other ways.
Yeah, same, yes, absolutely. You started off with, well, I guess the keynote speaker, as a keynote speaker, and your message was basically comes down to community, right?
Yeah.
So it was about not being the cool kid?
Or not being worried about being the cool kid. We can come together and just do cool stuff and not worry about who's cooler or who's competing against what better, whatever. It just doesn't matter. We're all helping each other no matter what our skills are at the moment. We can always get better, and we can do that so much better in community than we can do on our own.
Yes, because you started off with talking about hackerspaces and the time when you actually realized those things existed.
Yeah.
That was in
2006.
2006.
Which is now a long time ago. It doesn't feel that long to me, but I've been to a lot of these events since then. Yeah, and I keep coming back because they still energize me in so many ways that I can't even explain. It's just part of me, and I love being part of them, and it feels great.
Yes, and you also spoke about the Hope Festival in the US of A.
Yeah.
And you're one of the people who organized that for the...
Yeah, every 2 years. My first hacker conference was a Hope Hackers on Planet Earth in 2006. That was my first hacker event. That's what got me into all this mess, and I'm so grateful. They invited me to give a talk about TV Be Gone, and my invention that turns TVs off in public places for people who don't know. And that got me sort of internet famous, and someone from Hope invited me, and I was home instantly. It was an amazing feeling part of a group of people for the first time in my life rather than feeling afraid. And it felt so wonderful to be there, and everyone is sharing and wanting to learn from me and me from others, and it was just great. And when it ended, I wanted more. And and so I've been on it ever since. And the next one was in Berlin. Someone from Chaos Computer Club was there and said, "Hey, can you give this talk over at this thing that we do in Germany? I think you'll like it." And I did. And that was in Berlin at the time. Now it's in Hamburg. But I fell in love with Berlin, and I still have friends from that event to this day. And of course, when that one ended, I wanted more. And then the third one, there was this talk about hackerspaces and how to start your own. I'm like, wow, hackerspaces, that sounds awesome. I'm going to do that. And there were friends of mine there from New York, from San Francisco, where I lived at the time, and Washington, D.C. And we went home and helped each other start some of the early hackerspaces in North America. And we got a lot of help from the German people, CCC people, and and it happened, and we became examples for others to start. People would visit us, and we'd help them, and we'd learn from them, they'd learn from us, and it just spread from there quite rapidly. And same with hacker conferences. And a lot of that is an outgrowth of that third hacker conference that I went to, third for me, which was Chaos Communications Camp. Kind of the counterpart of the Dutch camps, which is WHY is a part of. And the Dutch people, the CCC people, it's all a lot of overlap, and we all help each other, which is part of why it's also cool.
Yes, absolutely. And you've been to some of the Dutch camps?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The wind is
picking up.
Over.
Yes.
So.
I'll hold it. So what was your first Dutch camp?
My first Dutch camp was HAR, Hacking at Random, and that was 2009. So that was the first Dutch camp after I came into the scene in 2006. And I know there's a long history. I think the first one was 94, was it?
It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah. The Galactic Hacker Party.
Yeah,
was the first one. Yeah,
and I met people who were involved with that. One of the people lives in Berlin now. I'm a friend with, and but I was part of Orga for a while for OHM, Observe, Hack, Make.
Yes, 2013.
13, yeah. And wonderful event. There was controversy with the sponsor, which was unfortunate, and what was really unfortunate is how mean some people were to each other, which was really not necessary, because we all make our own choices, but we can live and learn and grow with one another so much better than attacking one another. But whatever, it was still a really wonderful event, and
I enjoyed myself.
Me too.
Yeah,
and I had a hardware hacking area, like I always organize at these things. My first hacker event, first two, Hope and then 23C3 in Berlin, no one was making anything. And that seemed to be unfortunate to me. So the next time I went to an event, which was my third one, Chaos Camp in 2007, I set up a workshop area, really similar to what's going on here at HackFest, with 10 soldering irons. And it was mobbed. It was really popular, and people made all sorts of things, and people are engaged, and they're smiling, and it's a little hacker soldering community party. And that just set me off, and I've been doing it ever since. So, and now I'm not the only one who has these things at Chaos Camp and at Chaos Congress and at the Dutch camps and all these other events. There's lots of people teaching people to solder and make things of all sorts, and that's so cool to see.
Yes. And you will be doing that at WHY as well?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Can't keep me away.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, these were some great stories, and I'm sure there are plenty more.
No,
and we might invite you on again if you're willing to.
Happy to share.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We're going back inside and enjoy the last few hours of HackFest.
HackFest.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Thanks. See ya
for now.
So that was a very cool interview with Mitch.
Oh my goodness!
And
I'm so much looking forward meeting that guy. Very cool.
He's really kind and sharing and enthusiastic and energetic. I mean, like he said, he's physically tired but energized in so many ways. That's a great way to put it when you come off from an event like that, and also from WHY. And he also told about how he participated in creating more events and starting hackerspaces as well. But that is part of the hacker community, and events like Hope, like WHY, like the CCC camps. It's being part of it. So that is being in the organization of WHY in this case, but also being a speaker and doing workshops. And I heard you are going to do stuff at WHY as well. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
No, I did. I did at MCH 2022.
Yeah.
Well, like you said about Mitch actually doing a workshop, we have 200 amazing talks and speakers and people who are telling us about all the crazy cool stuff that is going on in the hacker scene. There's also a lot to do at WHY. If I take myself for example, I did 3 workshops at MCH 2022 around the topic of gamification, of course, because that's my that's my my
that's
thing.
your thing, definitely.
That's my thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And how to use gamification to improve your hacking skills and how you can innovation, things like that. But there's always so much more to do on a camp than just listening to lectures. And one of the teams that makes it possible that it's not only possible for the big kids, but also for the small kids is Team Family Zone. They have their own village, but they rather call it Family Zone, so I heard. And I interviewed Pikachu a while back on what is Family Zone and what can you expect from that team. So let's listen to Pikachu. So we're here today with Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yay! Can you tell maybe a little bit about yourself and then about the team you're in and what you're working on?
Yeah, sure. Well, I did volunteering on MCH as well, also for the Family Zone, and I have been doing volunteering since around SHA. But back then it was for a different team. And I am from Germany, so my English can be a little bit of an accent.
Oh, you're doing great. No worries.
Yeah, overall, that's a little bit about my history, I guess. Yeah, for the Family Zone, we want to be a hotspot basically for everything regarding young hackers, and we want to encourage people to get into doing things, breaking things, having fun with things, toying around with stuff. That's kind of our goal. So we're not a daycare or something specifically, but we actually want to encourage people to get to
creative.
Yeah, creating, having fun. Yeah.
Very cool. Do you have some examples, maybe what you did in the Family Zone at MCH that were cool things to mention?
Yeah, so we had at MCH we had something which was, I don't know the exact English word, but it was basically a riddle, sort of. And you had to solve the riddle by going around the forest as well. We had some secrets hidden somewhere, and we organized all of that before the event. We also had a Minecraft server workshop where people got told how to set that up, and we had parents with doing moderation and stuff as well on those servers. We had a couple of also spontaneous building things. Yeah. So we had some materials laying around from older hardware over to Chromebooks and stuff, and people were experimenting with those. So yeah, there's a lot of things we try to organize every time. I think last time it was around 20 to 25 projects that we had going, and we're looking forward to a lot of ideas for new projects as well. And
and making sure that WHY is also a family-friendly event, right?
Of course,
so, I think that's very, very cool.
So our main task as the Orga people is to make sure that overall Family Zone is safe, that we make sure that we have enough room, that we have the tents or everything set up so people can just drop in with their kids or with a camper van or something, and get to enjoying the camp overall. We will also be doing very likely volunteering for kids again, which we did on MCH, where kids can also help out at the Family Zone themselves or also at certain other teams that will help
get
us
them
out.
while they're young, right? As angels. Angels.
Exactly.
To be clear.
But it's great help, and it was a lot of fun, especially since the kids also in the end they got a little volunteer T-shirt as well. So it was a lot of fun last time.
It's a crazy cool learning experience as well, right?
Oh, definitely.
Not only for children, by the way, also for adults. But it's very cool that they have the opportunity to also...
Last camp, we also had a daycare for the really little children, so that the parents were able to go to talks and to organize their day a little bit, even while having kids with them. Yeah. So we're planning on doing the same, but we're going to see in the progress of how things go with financing as well.
Of course.
But yeah, that is also something that was really requested last time, and that we were really proud to have organized. Yeah, and we also had a bunch of little those jumping thingies that you can jump on.
Yeah.
I don't remember
yeah,
it's kind of, but not really, more in like a playful, like
the bouncy castle.
Yeah, bouncy
castles.
castles.
Yeah.
That was the word.
Oh, very good. Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
and that was also a big hit last time.
So we probably will. There will be bouncy castles.
Yes, very likely.
Also for adults.
The last time they weren't for adults. we will try.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that was last time. That was very, very nice for the kids as well. And we were in general. We also had talks, and we are going to have talks again this time together with Team Content.
Awesome.
And they were thinking about teasing something in regards to explain it like I'm 5, kind of around those stuff. But that will come later. Some updates on that.
So people can also send in a CFP, so a proposal for the family village.
Oh yeah.
So specifically targeted to family and younger kids, maybe. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we were planning on having a workshop tent like we had last time, and a main tent, and we will have talks and things happening in the workshop tent, and in the main tent we will also have some different things going on. So yeah.
Very cool.
We have a dedicated tent for
it. Is there anything specific that your team now needs or lacks? People who can help out with a specific thing?
In general, we are currently only like 3 to 4 people, so we're kind of a small team. So if you're looking towards having your child with you at the camp, and you want to maybe help out things and organize some new projects or something, we are very open to that. We would love ideas in that direction. Doesn't mean you have to do them yourself. Doesn't mean you have to always look after the costs and everything. We're gonna arrange that in parts for you, but just in general, having ideas would
so
be
you're
great.
Open for cool ideas, and also people who want to help out with that,
a lot,
not necessarily intertwined.
No, exactly.
That's very cool. Okay, well, good luck with all the preparations, of course. You. And let's make an awesome why.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys a lot for doing this podcast and getting the word out.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That guy with his signature hat is just so freakingly funny and lovely and caring, and it's so cool that you and recognizable. He's not to miss. If you wanna find Pikachu, just search for Pikachu and you'll find him. And bring your family. I think
definitely.
You can bring your family. So let's go to the next episode of Where to Hack. Each week, we will share where you can find why-minded people, where to hack. So, Ad, where will we hack soon?
Soon. Well, WICCON is coming up, and that'll be the 31st of October and the 1st of November.
Yep. Halloween and the day after.
Yeah. On a Thursday and a Friday. And it's going to be a bunch of speakers, and it's just a lot of cool, why-minded people yet again.
Yeah.
There's not as much of an exhibit of makers like HackFest.
No, it's more conference.
It's more conference-y.
Yeah.
But then with the beautiful Halloween setting, so it's a bit dark and a bit gloomy and colorful lights. And last time we had straws in the drink with little bats on them and cute things like that. So it's
Halloween themed.
Yes. Yeah. And dressing up is not required, but
highly applauded.
Yes.
Please do so. I already got my stockings.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. And next to a lot of the people that are in the organization of Why are also in the organization of WICCON, which is probably not a coincidence. I think that's very cool. At least Dani is in there in the organization, and Chantal is in the organization. And they asked me if I could do on the Thursday, so on the Halloween day, if I could do a gamification track. Or, okay, I should be honest, I really wanted to do a gamification track. So I asked them, can I please do a gamification track on Thursday? I have to be honest. And they said
and what a
yes.
surprise. They said yes.
They said yes. Woo!
Yes.
So
does everybody know, by the way, what WICCON stands for? Maybe we should.
That's a good idea. Yeah. So you can explain it?
Yeah, it's the Women in Cybersecurity conference organized by WICCA, which is the Women in Cybersecurity Community Association.
Right.
Which accidentally spells out WICCA, which might be something witchy, but that is a pure coincidence, I was told.
It's a pure coincidence, of course. Yeah.
But it's funny, and we like it, and the logo is a black cat, and it
has a very nice theme, and you can find more about Wicca on wicca.nl, I guess, and on WICCON, wicon.nl, and we will put
show
it in
notes.
the show notes.
Show notes down in the description.
We have show notes, but in the gamification track, we will play a D&D game around breaches. Cool. We will play a game called 100 Ways to Die at Work.
That's a bit nasty.
I know. Yeah, it's Halloween. What can I say? We will play with the amazing people of Hack Shield. I really, really love their work. It's aimed at children, but everybody has been a child, and
well, I still act like I'm 12, so whatever.
Right. So you can play. Actually, I played Hack Shield, and it's really great fun. We will play around with the people from Awareways. They have a privacy game, a red teaming game. So we will play all day. I curated the program together with my friend Karen from Living Story. We will also do a session on how you can use how serious games is really closely intertwined with social engineering. So working on that, because security awareness and social engineering is all about behavioral change. And we try to use serious games for behavioral change as well. So it's really close-knitted topics. So it's going to be an amazing day. Only I will miss the 9 great speakers on the Thursday. So that's really sad, but also great fun at the same time, because I can play all day with security themes. So
it's all your hobbies combined.
Yes, it's amazing. I love it. There are still tickets left, and there are still sponsor packages left. So if you want either of those, go to the website, get your tickets. I heard from Chantal that the tickets are going quite fast. They're selling out quite fast, so be quick. They're not that expensive from my perspective, but I can't. And if you have problems and you think it is, reach out and they will fix it for you.
Yep.
So, time for some more history lessons?
Or should we look at the vacancy of the week?
Oh, let's do the vacancy of the week then.
Because we already talked about Dani.
Yeah.
Just now. And Dani is also part of Team Cohesion. And more on that in a future episode.
Mm-hmm.
But Team Cohesion could use some help.
Yeah.
Because Dani can't do it all by herself. And
Dani is a pretty busy bee as well.
Oh, definitely. And we love her for that. But there are some extra tasks that still could use an extra hand. Mm-hmm. There are plans for a silent lounge. So a place to cool down a bit if everything gets a bit overwhelming. They could use some help with setting up the code of conduct. The press, photo, and privacy policy needs to be very clear before any press comes onto the terrain. Mm-hmm. Just general communication things within Cohesion, but also especially with how others can reach Cohesion if they need the team, and the procedures for within Cohesion, how to handle certain situations, escalation, books on roadmaps. What should we do if?
Yeah, and these are not always easy topics, but if we want to have a lovely event where everybody feels safe and everybody feels seen and noted and welcome
And cared for, yeah.
and cared for, we really need this team. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we need help with that. And I see they also have request a shared workplace. I think they need a lot of help with small tasks as well, just to take care of. Just arrange shit, just do shit. Some things just have to be taken care of to put everything into place so Cohesion can do their work the best way they can.
Yeah, the organization within just all the teams. I mean, this is not just for Cohesion, but all the teams need people with very peculiar and particular skills. Mm-hmm. But there's also a lot of stuff that just needs more hands,
needs to get
more brains. So you will have some skill that some team needs.
Absolutely.
Don't worry about but I'm not good at. No, you can be.
Then I'm going to take a teeny tiny thing that will follow that we will have in a future episode that is called Tiny Tasks. I talked about this with team volunteers. We will have an overview of tiny tasks on the wiki. So if you have half an hour spare or something, you can go to the Tiny Task website and look something up that you can do, just an easy thing, and just do it. But more on that in future episodes.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Then I think it's a time after we obviously say go look at the vacancy page on the wiki. Go look at the different teams on the wiki. And for Cohesion, they have an email address, cohesion@WHY2025.org. And with that, I think we can jump into the history lesson for this week. Each episode will be diving into a piece of history, something special from the predecessors of WHY2025. So that could be from the Galactic Hacker Party from 1989, Hackers at the End of the Universe from 93, Hacking in Progress 97, Hackers at Large 2001, What the Hack 2005, Hacking at Random 2009, Observe HackMake 2013, Still Hacking Anyways 2017, May Contain Hackers from 2021, no, COVID happened, so that became May Contain Hackers 2022. And this week we will be taking a look at badges. Specifically, badges you get for trade shows, for conventions, and everybody knows the little plastic sleeves with a little paper inserted, or even just the paper on a lanyard with your name, your function, your job description, your employer, and some logos probably, and the dreaded barcode or QR code that will get you spam until the end of the universe. But we all know those kind of badges, and they're somewhat annoying, but also kind of useful to know who you're dealing with, who you speak with. Some people do remember names a lot better when they see them written out. And with events like WHY or other hacker camps, it's nice to have a face with a name. If you've spoken to someone online, maybe on IRC or Discord, you just have a nickname. And if someone has a badge with their nickname on, you can actually recognize them. So that is a benefit of having badges. And if you do a quick search online, you'll see there's a lot of different types of conference badges. I mean, there's the regular paper ones with lanyards with sponsors on there, and just pieces of paper. Some have different colors to signify if you're a speaker or a visitor, or maybe a VIP with extra access, or just says staff on there really, really big. There's people experimenting with different materials, maybe get an acrylic badge with laser engraving on there, ecological versions made of wood to be a bit more environmentally friendly. Even though the paper can usually be recycled if everybody actually deposits them in a bin after the event or takes them home. So there's lots of choice of badges there, and obviously if you get a bunch of nerds together and have them wear badges, they might come up with even weirder materials. I mean, there's full metal badges made in the past, and at some point you might get ones with LEDs or other electronics on there. The first one that I could find was the DEFCON 14 badge. That was, as far as I could figure out on the internet, the first badge that included actual electronics, 2 LEDs that make the eyes of the smiley face of the logo, and there was a PIC microcontroller, a PIC 10F200 if I recall correctly, and a single switch, and people were invited at the event to create something with that, even though limited device, but still a programmable device. This grew over the years. There was a bunch of stuff added, more buttons, more LEDs, even entire screens were added onto badges, and some even come with keyboards. And later on, there was also more of a shift to not just be able to do cool stuff. I mean, you get a badge with a bit of a prototype area on there, for example. I've seen people who turned their badge into a little makeshift oscilloscope, because it had a screen and it had an analog input on the microcontroller. So yeah, you could turn that into a very crude oscilloscope. But then later they also started to implement things like radio communication possibilities into the badge, IR receivers and transmitters, so you could have 2 badges talk to each other, and even introduce puzzles and games into the badges, and those require you to actually interact with other people's badges to solve the puzzles to get to the end of the game. And that would also improve and encourage interaction between visitors on an event, at an event. So that grew and grew and grew, and there's some very, very shiny examples with lots of LEDs, and it's still possible to put your name on there most of the times, sometimes in a scroller with LEDs, sometimes just on the display itself. But this first badge really opened the way to having a name badge that also, encourages tinkering, encourages interaction, and even, again, sharing stuff, learning stuff, and creating stuff. For example, there's this great YouTube video from Computer File about the EMF badge. There's MicroPython on there, and we'll be looking more into this badge and the badges for the Dutch events in the next episode of, in one of the later episodes of the history lesson.
So, Ad, I would like to add a new item to this podcast, and that is called Questions from Listeners. How many questions from listeners did we get based on the first 3 episodes?
Well, I looked into it. I went through all the comments on episode 0, on episode 1, and episode 2, and I compiled a big list, and I got one.
One.
Flipmo asked, but why? And I think the answer is because we can, and because this is what hackers yearn for.
Yearn for?
So
Yeah.
why? That's why.
So that's amazing. Thanks for the question. We would like to have plural. So send in your questions to the WHYcast about anything why related or Adfluencer related, and we will answer if we want to.
Yes. And with that, this is the end of episode 3. See you next week.
See you next week on Friday.
WHYday.